Good morning, everybody. Actually, I had a different video planned for this morning, but then Dave from my clan sent through a Georgia replay. That just shows that sometimes you just cannot carry. And it's a phenomenon that is happening more and more in World of Warships. And he will, again, demonstrate perfectly how you just cannot carry some teams. Now, his real in-game name is Dave, so it's not a case of me just calling the usual Dave because he's got some unpronounceable name like Jingles does. His name is actually Dave. The hell is my cat doing? I heard scratching behind me and my cat is just being an idiot. Alright. So Dave was the fortunate winner of the 30-day premium time that I gave away a month or two ago to try and grow the subs on the channel. So again, thanks for the replay, Dave. Dave is in the Georgia. He is in my clan. He is playing with Norg and Tunny. Norg's in the Drake. Tunny in the Pomeran. The Pomeran. The ship that they made the 3 versus 3 ranked sprint for to sell as many as possible. Well, that's my conspiracy theory. Now, interesting stat or interesting thing you'll notice about the game is there's no DDs. Dave is in a 7-9 and he is in the Georgia, and I played the Georgia significantly during the ranked sprint. I ranked out in it and I had some fantastic matches in it. She's a really decent secondary ship. She can't brawl very well, and it's possibly why I think I might actually not bother trying to get the Ohio. I want the Slava, but also want the Colbert, and I just don't feel like all those research points and grinding all the lines. What a pain in the ass. So Dave is heading to the left of the map here, and there's an enemy Donskoy, and that Donskoy is going to feature quite prominently later. And there's an enemy Buffalo moving in. And yeah, red team already. Damn, DD's got themselves killed already. No, there's just no DDs. So we notice a Pomeran killing friendly Baltimore, and you know this game is off to a great start. Yeah, right. Dave takes a shot at the Buffalo. Unfortunately, nothing connects. And the Buffalo makes a massive mistake. In front of an enemy fleet, you do not want to be throwing broadside like that. I think he realized he overextended. And Dave was super unlucky to just get one penetration there.
The ship is on fire.
Buffalo lands a single shell that sets on fire. Yeah, and I remember a discussion I had with Sea Raptor from Kraken Clan on Twitter, and he struggled with the Buffalo. I actually really enjoyed the Buffalo. I thought it was a good ship, certainly better than some of the other ships at tier 7 that are just a pain in the ass to grind. Arun, Riga, I'm looking at you too. Even the Seattle Buffalo was way easier to grind.
Problem solved, sir.
And it seems that Buffalo is burning or flooding. One of the two. You can't tell because I can't see it. And he is alive by literally a sliver. The Miyako kills the Buffalo, and both the teams are one each. Iowa pops out. Dave obviously takes shots at the Iowa. Ooh, and he lands beautiful, beautiful. Citadel, 20,000 in damage. Dave gets a reload off. Secondary is already focused on the Iowa. And, ooh, 31,900 damage with his second Citadel. 5 penetrations in Iowa. That Iowa is now in a world of hurt. And this is the thing about the Georgia. She is very good some days, and some days she's just not so good. Oh, we see a second Iowa moving in. Well, what is... And he is showing an awful amount of good broadside to the Georgia. Oof. 26,000, another Citadel. Good heavens, Dave, you've got a lot of luck with the Citadels, or you know how to aim way better than I do. Dave puts his manual secondaries on the Iowa. And spots Gorizia starting to go down right on the edge of the map. His secondaries get a fire, and he gets another Citadel and 24,000 damage from that Iowa. So he's pretty much taken most of 2/3 of the Iowa's health in 2 salvos. You really don't know what that Iowa was thinking. But he knocks Dave for 14-7. I would still say 20 plus 22 salvos like that versus a 14.5 salvo. Dave's team loses a Mayoko and is 4 ships down to 2. Dave Citadel's Gorizia and puts his secondaries on the Gorizia as this Iowa makes a bit of a mistake to turn broadside in front of the rest of the team and decides maybe it's time to get the hell out of Dodge.
The ship is on fire.
Broadside Iowa to a Georgia, you knew it was going to happen. Citadel, and Dave gets his first kill of the match. And the Gorizia is wiped off the map as well, and Dave's on his second kill of the match. Now, he's got a Sin-Up behind this island, and he cannot push. That Sin-Up will penetrate his side. Sin-Up is not overpowered at all. Yes. Right, so now Dave's got to wait for the rest of the team to move up to start doing some long-range shooting. Sin-Up sends up fighters just to spot where Dave is. Dave shoots him down. And there he is, proximity detected. Dave launches his spotter just to make sure he knows where the Sin-Up is. And Sin-Up types in, "Come on, Gariga." No, it's Georgia. They're not to spell, dude. Dave cheekily replies, "Yeah, it's okay, I've done 174,000 to your team." And that's within the first 9 minutes of the match. Now, if you notice the rest of the map, there's basically a friendly Riga and a Freddy de Groes on the right side of the map, holding off the rest of the entire team. And this is a massive pain, because while Dave has been pummeling the team on the left hand side, the rest of the team has been folding. So the Riga takes out New Orleans, but he's taken out by an enemy Pomeran, and it leaves only the Freddy de Groes on the right side of the map. Not a good situation. Now, unfortunately, for Dave's team, they still haven't capped A, and the enemy managed to cap D. Therefore, the enemy is now getting more cap points. It doesn't matter how many of them you kill, if the points are stacked against you by the end of the match, you are going to lose. If you go back to my Mogami video, where I went into the enemy cap to deny them the cap points and then ran away when there was only 2 of us, that is what secured us the match. So now with the rest of the fleet catching up to Dave, the enemy Sin-Up has decided to come out because he's getting pounded by Pomeran and the Drake. And he shows just a little bit of nose. Unfortunately, our nose structure is so saturated. Dave just gets 2 overpins on it. The Enterprise, seeing that the Synop is in a very, very bad position there, has now also started torpedoing him. And one of Dave's teammates type, poor Synop. See, that's what happens when you're cheeky. Enterprise manages to torpedo the Synop, and now, with the left side of the map cleaned up, Dave can turn towards the rest of the team. And at this stage, it still looks like there's a good chance. 453 versus 442 points. Nor calls for cover for the Freddy while the Freddy flees. The DM Donskoy has gone back to his home cap to make sure nobody goes over there. And that Donskoy was actually a pretty good player. Pain in the ass, but a pretty good player. And he's burning expensive camo, so he's probably trying to get to the Nevsky. Donskoy, I got news for you. The Nevsky isn't very good. Sorry, bud. I suppose I can't say that. Nevsky's alright. And those 2 shells land, penetrates the Donskoy, and Dave gets his high caliber. And now the poor Synop is typing a chat. I was alone, blah blah, fish post. Dude, if you maybe weren't as cheeky towards Dave in his Georgia, the rest of the team wouldn't be typing and trolling you at the moment. That's what I say. North America server, way less salty. I would have typed way less things, but I'm a salty old asshole, so I do things differently. The rest of the team is actually being polite and friendly to him. He's just very salty. You're in a Synop in a tier 9 match and you made a bad positioning mistake there. And you could have backed up, forced them to come around the corner after you, pounded the Drake. There's many options. But yeah, salty players will remain salty. So Dave's now heading down to try and defend their home cap. Both teams have a cap each. Problem is, the enemy team is 100 points ahead. Why? Because Dave's team's lost another ship. And a Pomeran comes out. Yeah, the Pomeran. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get the Pomeran with Cole next. There's not many other ships in the Cole armory that I want. Maybe Yoshino, but I think the Pomeran's going to be better with it than the Yoshino. And I have enough good captains to use. Oof! Dave takes a nasty, nasty hit from the North Carolina coming out. But it scores almost a 10,000 hit point hit there. Manages to incapacitate one of the North Carolina's turrets, which will force the North Carolina to have to use his damage control. The Pomeran on his right side is quite low health, so Dave just slows down. Hopefully one of his other teammates will take care of that, while Dave focuses on the North Carolina. Manual secondaries on the North Carolina. And while his secondaries are going to work on the North Carolina, which is low health, he starts looking towards this DM Donskoy, which is still being an incredible pain in the ass. Now Dave was incredibly unlucky with the shells. That Donskoy is almost holding still. But because Georgia's built for secondaries, you only get 6,700 in incapacitation. And Dave gets his 3rd kill of the match on the North Carolina. Now the enemy team's cheeky York decides to come out, try and throw torpedoes. There's the first set. As Dave's guns citadel him. But unfortunately he got off his 2 sets. Now Dave has to dodge the torpedoes while guarding his flank against the enemy ship there. But it's only a Mogami, so having burnt his repair party, Dave is now flooding. So he has to deal with a little bit of shit. And one of the friendlies type in Georgia MVP. Dave certainly at this stage of the game has proven to be an MVP. 233,000 damage so far, 4 kills. The Donskoy kills Norg and the Drake, which is unfortunate. And Dave calls for AA support from the Friendly Enterprise. And the Friendly Enterprise has actually been a pretty decent player. Biggest problem, even though Dave's team is ahead of ships, is they've only got one cap versus 3 caps of the red. And they need cap points. The enemy team is accumulating points way faster than they are, and there's only 4 minutes left in this match. This Donskoy is smart enough to avoid most of the shots from Dave, and obviously dispersion on the Georgia is just terrible at range. And with only 6 guns, it's not even throw as much in the air and see what sticks. So Norg types Enterprise, go kill the Mogami please, and that's going to come and bite them. Now obviously Dave's got adrenaline rush here. As his health pool is diminishing, his reloads are happening faster and faster. Oof! And that Donskoy was just so lucky. It was just so lucky. Enemy is unfortunately now over 100 cap points ahead, and even with the kill, it's going to struggle to win this match. Dave lands a single shell for 5,000 on the Donskoy. Donskoy only has 2,800 hit points. Come on, somebody kill that Donskoy. It cannot be that hard. Friendly Colorado is capping. Oof. The Donskoy is on a sliver of health. And finally, the friendly Algeria managed to take out the Donskoy. The biggest problem is cap points. 701 versus 765. And their Enterprise takes out the Algeria, setting Dave's team back by 100 points. They're now 659, 660 versus 800. They have to kill the Mogami, and they have to turn another cap point to stand a chance. Oh my word, a ricochet on a 2000 health Mogami. If that was me, my Mogami, I would have probably had a Citadel. RNG absolutely loves that Mogami. So, Norg types, please go get that Mogami. Enterprise, kill the Mogami. And the Enterprise hasn't been an idiot. I mean, it's not like he's a bad player. He has moved his ship up with Tunny and the Pomeran. He knows there's not a lot that can hurt him, and he stays in. If he stays within the Pomeran's AA bubble, that will help. So Dave is trying to turn another cap here. Unfortunately, Mogami has gone dark. He realizes what he has to do. I've done that before. And there's 40 seconds left in the match. You hear that countdown starts happening. The enemy Enterprise is coming in. Obviously wants to land a torpedo or two on Dave to delay it when he takes the cap here, or tries to take the cap. There simply is just not enough time to... Not enough time. They have to kill that Mogami. He throws a Hail Mary shot. And I don't think the shells are even going to hit in time. Maybe. No. 617 points left on that Mogami. And the match is over. We look at the after stats here. It was 240,000 damage, 4 kills. Dave, fantastic job. Sometimes you literally just cannot carry some teams. Thank you for sending the replay. Really, really enjoyed watching that. Everybody else, I hope you have a fantastic day further, and we'll speak soon. Take care. Cheers.